There's our storm cloud.
What's up, pretty lady?
Hey, babe.
Piece of styrofoam over there.
I know.
So bring it back, put it in the trash probably.
There's another one down there.
I'm out on a cinder block.
Here on Ryan's Island, the sea says hello. Dolphins are waving wherever I go.
Beautiful
I
rendition.
don't know the rest of the words.
Hey.
Hey.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Today is Thanksgiving Day. I am out on the lake because flights were too expensive to fly back to see my family in Pennsylvania. They were like $500 or $600 and I wasn't gonna pay that for a flight. And unfortunately, most of my friends either went home or they have family in the Atlanta area. So I'm just solo in it for Thanksgiving, but beautiful day out. Yesterday it was very aggressive, super windy. Today it's just at the amount of wind where it's nice, you can get a decent sail going, but it's not a huge workout, so it's a little bit more relaxed, which is really nice. Turn the camera around. I think, let's see what time it is. Well, it's about noon, and the wind's supposed to die down a little bit around 1 or 2, I think. But right now, it's probably around 10 miles per hour, if I had to guess. It's kind of in balance between probably 8 and 12. On little gusts here and there, but we had another blowout with the pee bucket. I really got to remember to empty it after a night on the boat because I woke up this morning, I was all excited because it was super windy, and you know, basically just woke up, made some tea, had a quick breakfast, and I was out on the water by about 10 a.m. and I had a completely full pee bucket in the boat and totally forgot about it. And once I got out and I was healing quite a bit, the pee bucket took a little tumble down in there, and I keep it down around the corner there near that the bilge pump that I'm still working on installing. And the good thing is that there's a lid, but the lid mismatches. You can see it's a different lid for a different bucket, I think. So it's not completely watertight. So when it tips, if it falls, you know, on its side, it comes out, but it luckily doesn't dump, because I mean, if there wasn't a lid, it would just dump the whole thing on the ground. So I had to jump down there and grab some paper towels and get it before it got the little rug. I think it got the rug a little bit, but it's dirty anyway. I gotta toss it in the wash. And got a bunch of paper towels, but I'll have to get some cleaning spray when I get back to the dock and wipe it down. Temperature's around 58. I think it's supposed to go up to around 62. Pretty windy though, so I got my Helly Hansen jacket on to keep some of the wind off. Then I have a synthetic layer underneath, and then a synthetic t-shirt underneath that. So it's keeping me pretty warm. And I got my toasty socks on. in my Sperry's there. So my feet are nice and warm, which is good. Hands are a little cold. I got my gloves over there. I was using them earlier when I was messing around with some of the lines, because it hurts a little bit when your hands are really cold. So I got them out. But apart from that, nothing much really going on the lake today. I assume everyone's probably spending time with their family. I've seen a couple boats out. There were a couple guys fishing early this morning. Let me check this GPS real quick, coming up to some islands. Make sure we're not heading towards anything too shallow. Getting a little shallow. Probably gonna do a little tack here. All right, we're doing this live. Let's see if I put the camera there, if you can see me. Can't really see the screen though. All right, I'll give it a whirl. I can always edit it out if it's really bad. There we go. A little difficult with the pea bucket there, getting in my way, but kind of have to keep it there, let it air out a little bit. I could probably put it back down in the cabin actually, but it was, oh yeah. So there's not many people out on the lake today. I've seen probably 2 or 3 guys fishing earlier this morning. And there's, I think I see right now 1, 2, 3 sailboats. So not a whole lot on a very busy day, even though the wind's decent. But like I said, everyone's probably out with their family. We saw Sydney and I, she was here last weekend. We saw a deer. It was a buck crossing the lake. And I mean, you know, it's a pretty big cross. It was actually in this area, so it was kind of like from there all the way across. He was going to one of those islands or peninsulas over in that direction. And we were sailing towards it, and I thought it was like a piece of wood or something, so I was trying to avoid it. I didn't want to hit it with the boat. And I pulled out the binoculars to see what it was. It was confusing looking. Like it looked like a log with a bunch of sticks and twigs hanging off of it, and then I realized the sticks and twigs were actually the antlers of a buck, which was pretty surprising. I didn't know, but apparently deer are extremely strong swimmers, and they can swim up to 13 to 15 miles per hour. Which is crazy when you think about that speed. I mean, even like full-on sprint, you know, I can maybe go like, 8 or 9 miles per hour, and that thing can beat me in my sprint on land versus it in water. It's almost, twice my speed, which is crazy. But he made it to the other side. We kind of hung out in the area, watched around, made sure he was okay. We were worried he was going to drown, because I had no idea deer were really good swimmers. But then I looked it up, and there were a couple people posting about how sometimes they cross like the Chesapeake Bay, which is crazy. I mean, that could be anywhere between a couple miles up to 10-15 miles, depending on where you're at. So apparently they do it all the time. I was telling Sydney he was looking for some cute doe, saw her across the way, and had to swim over and spit his game on her. So hopefully it was worth it. It was worth getting cold, but I'm sure he was okay. They do it all the time. But he was a good looking buck. He had some nice antlers on him. So hopefully he found himself a good looking doe over there, wherever he was headed to in that direction. Oh, we got one guy here, so he's putting up a spinnaker. But this is probably the earliest I've ever been out on the lake. Sorry, I'm just rambling. I haven't had much human interaction, if you can tell. especially with it being Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's probably the earliest I ever got out. I was out on the water by 10 a.m., which was nice. And pretty nice, relaxed day. Just cruising along. I think my average speed today, I've been tracking it, I think it's around 3 knots. Yesterday when the wind was really strong, the average I think was like 4.6 or 4.7. So that was definitely much more aggressive of a day, definitely a workout. Woke up a little sore this morning from pulling all the lines and wrangling the tiller. But that's about it out here on the lake. This guy's trying his best here. Looks like he's solo sailing. Yeah, I think he is. Oh, looks like he's getting it. I'm heading a little downwind now. Probably start making my way back towards the marina since the wind's supposed to die down. I don't want to get stuck too far out here before, you know, once the wind dies down, I gotta motor back and it's a pain. Oh, there we go. Got it up. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Turn the screen around. Yeah, it's kind of up. He was catching the wind earlier. He probably has to adjust it. Oh, there we go. Nice. Good looking spinnaker there. Very sweet. But I'd say that's about it for today. If I see anything exciting out on the water, I'll make sure I get it on camera. It's a nice, calm morning out here on the lake. Figured I'd do a little bit of teak oiling here. So I have my setup. You can see that's one of the bottom panels for the entranceway into the boat, and that's the semi-after. I just put some teak oil on it. It's going to take a little bit to absorb, and I think I'll do a second coat. And then that's what the before looks like. Pretty crazy, the difference. And I'm thinking about doing some of this woodwork as well, since this is, you know, outside in the sun, gets beat up, and it's, you know, much fainter, kind of a gray color compared to the interior wood, which is a much richer, darker color. I was reading the instructions on the teak oil. This is the first time I've ever done it. They were saying not to get on the fiberglass, so unfortunately all I have is a cloth that I've been using and some gloves. But I might have to go to the store and get a little paintbrush and maybe some painter's tape or something, just to try to keep it off the fiberglass, since the instructions said make sure not to get it on the fiberglass. Considering maybe doing a you know, like a polyurethane kind of sealant over the teak oil eventually. Not sure if I want to get to that today. I think it says you have to let it sit for 6 to 8 hours before you can, you know, go ahead and apply that sealant or that polyurethane. So right now, just trying to get the panels looking a little bit nicer. They're pretty worn out. Looking a little gray and dingy. I was considering sanding them, but it looks like they've already been sanded quite a few times in their lifetime, and I don't know how much more sanding they can take. Especially when you look at this wood, I mean, how thin it's already getting. I don't know if I even want to risk sanding it, because if you look at some of the ridges, I mean, they go pretty deep, and I'd be taking off probably a couple millimeters of wood, and there's not a whole lot to work with, you know, to begin with. So I think I'm just gonna keep them the way they are, not sand them, and then just put some teak oil, and then maybe seal them with some polyurethane or something like that. But I gotta get back to these ones, and I'll get a video after they're done to show you what they look like. Well, I decided to do it all while I was at it, while I had the teak oil out. So I did, you can see the panels there. I did both sides of those. Those were super dried out, so they sucked up a ton of oil. I didn't have to really worry about getting it anywhere because I was on the dock. So you know, I didn't have to worry about getting it on the boat. And then I decided to continue while I had everything out. I actually redid all of the exterior wood, as you can see. Now this stuff I couldn't get, you know, as large amounts on the wood because then it would start to drip down. So I kind of used like a rag and then dabbed it in a cup. I actually used, there it is, cut open a little water bottle and use that as my container. You can see it's starting to dry on this piece here, and it's not nearly as much oil as I used on those. Those probably only need one coat of what I did, which was pretty hefty. These I might need to do a second coat since, as I mentioned, I didn't want it to drip everywhere. And it said not to get on the fiberglass, but I don't know. I put some on there and you could barely even see it, and just wiped it up with a paper towel. So I don't think it's going to cause any issues. I mean, the boat's already so old and beat up as it is. You can see how it needs a scrubbing. I haven't scrubbed it in a while. So I don't think it's going to cause any long-term issues. But the wood looks pretty nice. You can see it's starting to dry a little bit. And got all the way up there, and then there's a piece in front of the hatch that I did as well. So I'm kind of just waiting for it to soak up. And then I also did a little bit down in here. There was this piece, it's a little reflective, kind of hard to see. This little shelf area gets direct sun through this window, and these are not UV protected windows because the original ones are just basically glass, I think, maybe tempered glass. So there was this patch right around here that got full sun pretty much, you know, 24/7. Since the sun's usually, you might be able to see it through the window, sun is usually over there. So this lost a ton of its color and was pretty much just like a pale gray, whitish color. So I just reapplied some. It might need a second coat, I think. It's kind of absorbing it up now because it was pretty dried out. And there's also a little bit over here. This kind of area gets direct sun sometimes when I have the hatch open, which I do right now. And it's okay for right now, but I've noticed when it gets direct sun, it'll start to lose some of its finish from the UV. So might have to do that a little bit, not right now, but maybe a little bit later on. So, hair's all over the place. Yeah, today is the day after Thanksgiving. Had some good sailing yesterday and the day before, so I figured might as well get some work done on the boat while I have some downtime. And as you can see, there's pretty much no wind out there, so there's no point in taking the boat out. Tiller's good. I don't think it really needs anything on it. Still has the duct tape from when I glued it. Might remove that. And then I greased up the whatever the heck this thing's called down there. Still learning my terminology, but I was getting caught in a couple places and needed some lubrication. So got that done, and just reorganizing a couple things, getting some stuff stowed away. This is where I keep all the chemical type stuff, teak oil, some what's this stuff called? Jump starting fluid, motor treatment spray, some cleaner, turtle wax. I don't know. This all came with the boat when I bought it. But that's where I keep the teak oil. So probably gonna have to. You see all the crud that's built up back there. Probably have to clean that today. But I'm gonna let the wood sit for a little bit, let it soak up, and see if I need to do a second coat.